Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 9 of What If Naruto Had the Most Powerful Sharingan. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode on this channel of What If Naruto found the Uzumaki Curse, and enjoy that guys. And also, over on Anime King, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto found the Shinigami weapon, so go ahead and enjoy that guys. And also, I post a brand new episode over Anime King 2 of What If Naruto was treated like Gaara, so go ahead and enjoy that guys. And if you're new, yes, I did have 3 channels, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post 45 every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead, click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking about to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Begin the intro. So the last spot we left off, Naruto sat down in front of the council of the Uchihas as he informed them about Tatsumi being pregnant. Well, they didn't like that, tainting the bloodline with another, especially one that was not in their clan. But Naruto was simply telling them out of formality because he didn't really care what they think, because for most of his life, he was treated like a pariah by exactly them because they believe he was not worthy of the Uchiha name because he was only half. And when he didn't awaken his Sharingan, he was nothing in their eyes. But when he did, they started praising like he was nothing small of a god, because he became one of the most powerful Sharingan user. And well, they were happy because that boosted their clan reputation. But they had a falling out with him because of the way they treated him when he was younger. But Naruto didn't really care about what they think. He just wanted to inform Fukaku and them as a formality, as Fukaku saw this as a way for them to get close with the Inzaka compound, and not to mention boost their morale with the village, because so far things were not going good regarding, well, the Uchihas, because civilians were making complaints about them being harassed, as this has been brought up with their official council already before. So with that, Mikoto was shocked. She was shaking as she couldn't believe it. Tatsumi was pregnant. Out of all things that she expected here, she didn't expect that at all, as she couldn't believe that at all. As she spoke with Naruto, she noticed he was acting different, as she realized he was getting his affairs in order. After all, he was going to be a father very soon. As this just surprised her, as they hadn't told anyone else. So, well, her mind worried about Kushina and how this was gonna sit after all. If Kushina hear about this, she would think that Naruto saw her as a problem. That is why they broke up. But that was not the case, as Naruto told Mikoto why he ended things with Kushina, why he reacted that way. And she finally understood. But still, this was bad. She went to speak with Tatsumi as Naruto went over to Kushina's place. She was surprised to hear that he was here. After all, last time she spoke to him, she gave him a choice. And now he was back, she wondered. But she was with Minato, she couldn't just... But the news that Naruto gave her completely turned her world upside down. As Kushina was upset, it was clearly being seen on her face, and the way she acted. She tried to play calm, but she was upset, really upset by this news. As Naruto told her what he felt, and how he felt after what he did. As Naruto had obliterated thousands of innocents, families, kids just like him. When he was younger with his parents, he had just wiped them out like they were nothing. And he believed that she deserved better. That is why he treated her so horribly. That is why he tried everything to make her hate him, to make everyone hate him, not just her alone. But she didn't really care, as she said that she had things to do. Afterward, Tatsumi came over, and she told her that she was fine with it. As she deserved him, she was hounding after him for a long time now. Tatsumi knew that Kushina was upset, and she was just saying these things because she was upset, so she did not let them get to her, but she wanted to fight Kushina right there and then. She calmed herself as she had to leave. She informed Naruto about what happened, as Kushina just needs some time to calm herself, as she was not in a good state of mind right now. Not at all. Naruto went to inform his friends of what was going on, as all of them were shocked. To make it more surprised, they heard that it was Tatsumi, as she also informed the other girls, who was rather surprised by that. Most of them agree with her that Kushina and Naruto had broken up a long time ago, so well, she moved on with Minato, so there was nothing wrong. It's not like Naruto had closed himself off to the world. Not to mention he was hot, as Tatsumi had to agree to that. But still, the news was rather shocking, as the both of them took a stroll in the night, as she spoke to Naruto about the future. As they were being watched, Zetsu reported back to Obito about the situation that was going on. Obito saw this as a perfect opportunity to have Naruto help him change his world for the better. After all, a world like this should not be bringing children into it. Death, suffering and chaos was always around. So yeah guys, so basically that's what I left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So what do you say, go ahead and check out the other episodes of Anime King and Anime King 2 and enjoy those guys. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say begin this new episode? Let's get right into it guys. We begin this new episode at Training Ground 15, as two individuals were currently sparring. They moved so fast that the only thing you could see was the clash of their blades, as sparks flew everywhere, as they continued to clash until one of them were thrown back as he smashed into the tree, picking himself up to show that he was none other than Shisui Uchiha. Shisui smiled. He looked up towards none other than Itachi Uchiha. Itachi had grown a bit taller. He just seemed to have a sudden growth spurt. Nothing too impressive, but he had grown a bit taller, as he was on the same height as Shisui now. He gave him a hand as he pulled him to his feet. Well, I guess that's another one for you, said Shisui. And another loss for you, Itachi said. Shisui chuckled. I guess you're right, he said. Itachi was now 13 years old. He was captain of his own Anvu squad. That was a rather impressive feat. Well, he was a prodigy. Shisui was currently 16, but he was not a part of the Anvu. While it would surely fit his style of fighting, being all secretive and powerful, but still, he never chose that path. Instead, he went down the path of an elite Jonin, and that is what he is at the moment. And Itachi chose the path of Anvu. He didn't know why, but he felt like it better resembled him, so he chose that path. He had debated this with Naruto a lot of times, as it didn't take too long for Itachi to be promoted on his sheer skill alone. As Minato had seen that Naruto was correct, Itachi was far above Genin level even after just a couple of months. And even at a Genin level, he was still far above that, and he was quickly able to rise to the ranks of Anvu. Arriving there, it only took him a couple of months to arrive to being a captain, where he led his own team. The boys come together every now and then to keep their skills sharp. As Itachi glanced behind him, he felt it while they were sparring. Someone was watching them. You notice, huh? Said Shisui. Who is it? Asked Itachi. I'm not sure. I think they're after me though. As Itachi narrowed his gaze towards him. Do you think it's because of your eyes, he asked. I'm not sure, said Shisui. Things in the village has been rather complicated. For one thing, Shisui had the Mangekyo Sharingan. It awakened after he lost a dear friend of his on a mission, and the ability that he used was made known by accident. A rather powerful ability that was not exactly normal, seeing that he could bend the mind of one, and that was not exactly a good thing. Regarding certain people, well, most people that hate the Uchihas, jealous people that is. As Shisui feel the sensation of being watched, he knew that someone was watching him. He didn't feel any killer intent coming towards him, any reason that they would attack. They were just watching him at the moment. He had a few suspicions on who it was. Well, not who the person was watching him, but he had a few suspicions on who sent them. Have you told Naruto about this? Itachi asks. No, says Shisui. He's been rather busy lately. Not to mention with him soon being a father and all. I know that, but your eyes. If that is the reason why someone is coming after you, we already know they have no good intention. After all, they have to rip them from your sockets so that they could take them away from you. And I don't think they're just gonna ask you nicely. After all, you wouldn't give them away. Shisui closed his eyes. The Mangete was truly a curse. On one hand, the more you use it will blind you, but on the other hand, they came with these abilities that just seem unreal. But still, while his Koremasukami was amazing, Naruto Mangekyo ability was just different. As Naruto was the first person that he spoke to, seeing that it was well known that Naruto also possessed the Mangekyo. Possessing the Mangekyo was rather rare after all. There was only a select few of Uchihas who awakened the Mangekyo. Those with the powerful will to awaken them. And he was one of them. As Naruto had taught him several things about his eyes that he didn't even know. As the two boys still conversed where they were. Meanwhile, Tatsumi was 8 months pregnant and a few weeks. As she was large. She was carrying twins. She was large. She has been getting rather angry lately. But whenever she got angry, Naruto was always there. Either with treats or whatever she wanted to pipe her down. But her being an Inazaka, her feral side had just been amplified to 1,000 degrees. And whenever she got so angry and cursed at him, she always cried afterwards. And then she got sad. The mood swings were a lot. But the thing was, the both of them were married. Well, not official to the entire world. They had sealed the deal. It was a small ceremony with just their closest friends. Kushina had declined the offer because things with her was not so well. Not at all. Minato was not there either. It was just the guys that Naruto told, and his sister, Tatsumi, and a few Inazakas. Not even Fukaku was there because this was not the real wedding that they wanted, but they sealed the deal to make sure the child was not born a bastard child. Yes, a rather stupid claim, seeing that most people did not get married. But Naruto had asked her. She told him that he didn't have to do this because they were having a child, but Naruto wanted that. He wanted her a part of his life. Not to mention they had been living together ever since. So it was not that difficult. While she was in her pregnant state, she let her clan advisors take over for the moment, as they ran the Inazaka clan well, until she came back and took her seat as the clan head. As the both of them had kept their name, and adding each other's name as well, Inazaka and Uchiha. But it was not really public to the rest of the world yet. There were several facts. For one, all of Naruto's enemies. And the other one, well, she didn't want to get pregnant like this. She said that she was fat, and it made Naruto laugh. Well, she attacked him that day. Her hormones were really going crazy. So they were gonna wait until she had the babies, and then they were gonna perform a large ceremony in said village, where the occupants that really wanted to come, like most of the Inazaka clan and most of the Uchiha clan, would be able to attend even though they were already married. But still, life was good for them at the moment. Even though Tatsumi always get her mood swings. But life was not good for everyone in the village. Minato and Kushina, they had a rough road. Ever since she found out that Tatsumi was pregnant with Naruto children, well, she and Minato tend to get in a lot of arguments, as they end up cursing a lot at each other. As everyone had noticed the divide between them when they meet each other on the streets or they talk. As people already suspect what was going on, those that knew about Naruto and Kushina beforehand, well, most people knew, and now knew that Tatsumi was pregnant. The information was not that widespread. Once again, Naruto has many enemies that would like to see him suffer, so the information was not that widespread. But once these children were born, they will be protected by both Inazaka and Uchiha clan, and not to mention several other clans. From Naruto, close friends. At one point, things looked rocky for Minato and Kushina. It seems that they would separate, but they did not. They were able to hash things out. At the moment, no one really knew about the situation regarding their relationship, as no one really knew the equality, because they would not tell anyone. Kushina had been spotted with her friends several times. Tatsumi had went to several of those gatherings, but the two women never talked to each other there. They never spoke, not even once, since they found out about this. It was just awkward. It was a bit awkward for the other girls, but Migato made up for it by bringing up different conversations and talking to keep everything afloat. As for Naruto, after he finished training Itachi to the best of his abilities, Itachi had become powerful than before, considering that he was able to attack and defeat Shisui. Not all the time, but sometimes he got the upper hand and actually win, showing how much he has grown. Not to mention, because of his growth spurt, he looked like he has grown into a rather old man, but he was still just 13. As for Naruto, he's been taking a break off missions, considering the fact that he was the second person to do the most completed missions in Konoha, S ranks to be exact. Jiraiya was the first, who had completed 1,839 S rank missions, as Naruto was the second who had completed 1,423 missions, S ranks, not counting the others. So money was not a problem with him and Tatsumi. But he had taken enough time to take care of her, even though she always said that she was fine. At the moment though, she was sleeping, as Naruto was leaning up against the door frame. He had a peaceful smile on his face. He continued his therapy sessions with Inoichi, a lot of them, and the man was able to get him to work to the core of his problem, his regret, his pain back then. It was up to Naruto to forgive himself, which he has slowly been doing so far. With the place at peace right now, there was no reason for him to turn back into that monster that he knew, that was still buried inside of him. So the world was peaceful and he was peaceful as well. He didn't know when it happened, but along the way he got to fall in love with Tatsumi. He always saw her as a friend, but now he loved her, and he knew that he was gonna love his children as well, no matter what. But problem was brewing outside in the real world. Real bad problems. Meanwhile, unknown area, as there was a smile on one of the most dangerous men in the elemental nation face. Reason being, the man was slippery, seemed unkillable, and all around a dangerous person. It was none other than his snake son in Orochimaru, as he was currently having a conversation with the true leader of the Akatsuki. Yes, the masked man. The both of them sat down to talk, as he was a part of the Akatsuki at the moment, and he had some information the masked man needed. Orochimaru was helping the organization, and in return he was getting help as well. Several fundings going towards the land of someone that he was currently congregating into his command. And there were several prospect ninjas that, well, he could use. Deals were being made, as Orochimaru would never do anything for free. They might be stronger, well, especially the one at the Hidden Rain, but still, Orochimaru always found a way to slip out of things. But at the moment though, he had recently joined the organization. 2 months ago, he knew that he was not trusted, but still, Orochimaru wanted something, and so he was giving them information on someone that he never expected to be talking about, Danzo. And this is correct, the masked man said. Now why would I lie to you? After all, I was there myself, and I saw what happened. He and I had the same goal back then. I wanted a few Sharingan eyes to experiment on, and I got them by him having his root agents kill a few Uchihas during the war, claiming that it was the enemy. The masked man couldn't believe what he was hearing, as he found out what really happened, why the signal didn't go through. As the masked man chuckled to himself, "I see you're amused," Orochimaru said. "How couldn't I be? And you were also a part of this." "Yes, but I'd rather you leave my name out of it. I know exactly what you're planning to do. I also want the leaf to fall, but you are dabbling in something that you should not. Messing with someone that you should not mess with," Orochimaru said. There was also a bit of concern in his voice. "Once you take this path, my name will be erased. Remember our deal. You are said to be the most powerful Sanin, and a rather dangerous man, and yet you fear him." "Fear is not the word I would use," said Orochimaru. "It's something much worse. And if you understand exactly who Naruto Uchiha is, well, you should know. He's not a person to be trifled with. He has shown that several times before. And yet you want to go and wake up that beast, who has been settling down from what I've heard. Yes, but he's needed. Him being settled is something that I cannot allow to happen. Well, as long as you keep my name out of it, I don't see the complaint. As long as you don't screw me over and give me wrong information. Because if you do, Orochimaru, I will kill you myself. Orochimaru chuckled. You don't have to worry. I was one of the few that know about this. Danzo was able to eliminate all the others. So far, he has been trying to kill me because he knew if I were to spread this information, well, it wouldn't be good for him. But you have this over his head, why would he try to kill you? Well, he tried to play it off as random attacks. Random assassinations by different members of different villages. But I know it is root agents, but I can't really find out because of seal on their body. Destroy their mind before I get to enact my research on them. So he knows that you hold the one key to his death. Yes, he does. As I said, I am not lying. Orochimaru got to his feet. But once you poke the bear, expect it to attack. As he walked away, the moment he was gone, Zetsu came out of the ground. You don't trust him, do you? Zetsu asked. Of course not. He will betray us the moment he gets his hand on something valuable. But that doesn't matter right now. With this information, as the masked man smirked, well, let's see how Naruto will take it first. But do you think he will believe you? Maybe he will not, but he will definitely look into it. I want to plant the seeds of doubt in his mind before I enact my plan. To make sure that he truly received grief and suffering, I want to truly break him. I can't allow him to fall back on mercy for anything. Because the dream that we're going after, we need him to be ruthless. We need him to be the man that slaughtered an entire coast with thousands, in hours, innocents, villains. We need him to turn back into that monster that he was. That is the Naruto Uchiha that we need right now, not this one. Time skip. As Naruto just cooked a wonderful meal, when he sensed something. Tatsumi was asleep, as he had put her to bed. But something was off. As he was rinsing things off, when he felt the presence, he slowly made his way outside. Calmly walking down the street, he felt it, as he knew exactly what it was. It took the person months, but they were finally here now. Well, he promised that he would get rid of the threat, and he was here to do so. As Naruto calmly made his way, it didn't take him too long. As he arrived towards Hokage's monument, behind it there was a forest. The masked man chose to stay a long distance away from him. As Naruto looked down, he could tell that there was several things in the ground that were about to spring up to attack him the moment he tried to attack. I'm just here to talk, but if you activate your eyes, we will not. Are you afraid? Naruto asks. No. I don't want to cause a commotion. I'm actually here to help you. I've turned down your offer months before. What makes you think I want anything from you now? Oh well, this is something you would need to know. As Naruto kept on walking slowly, but he did not move forward, he just walked from side to side. It's about your sister. As Naruto's gaze turned towards him. Choose your words very carefully, he said. I am. But her dying is not an act of war. It was planned. What? Said Naruto. I've got into some rather delicate information lately. It turns out that several deals were made, but not just only with Orochimaru Tatsumi. The masked man smirked at that, as he knew that Orochimaru would betray him sooner or later. So, it was no big deal if Naruto would kill Orochimaru for him. And the Hidden Stone as well. After their immense loss to Minato, Oniki would not stop the war because he wanted its pound of flesh from Konoha. So Konoha offered ninjas, well, not in the professional way to the Hidden Stone. It was more like behind their back. Someone offered ninjas up, and your sister was one of them. Your sister was the one that called the war off. Well, you were a big part of that considering what you did to the people there. Back then, when you were ruthless. But your sister was a prize to be handed over. As Naruto's fist clenched, the masked man prepared himself, just in case he had to flee, as he knew what he was dealing with here. Now, as I was saying, your sister was handed over. You always wonder what happened to the signal. How a secure signal from Konoha got to be jammed and forged by another enemy force who knew everything that was going on. It turns out that your sister was sent into a trap. Her death would bring forward the salvation to end the war, as both sides has lost too much. And the person that did this was none other than Danzo Shamira. As Naruto said nothing for a long while. Why should I believe you, he said. Believe me if you want, but you know that that man hates the Uchihas, and he would gladly give any of you up to make sure Konoha doesn't suffer anymore. And that is what he did. He sent your sister into that trap. He was the one to jam the signals. Orochimaru was the one that told me after all. Orochimaru told you this, said Naruto. Yes. We've become acquaintance in a way. Just using each other for their own benefits, if you might say that. And why are you telling me this, said Naruto? I just wish to show you the world that you're living in at the moment. The corrupted, twisted world. To know that your own village allowed your sister's death by the hands of one of the village elders. The masked man created a vortex in front of Naruto. As something flipped out of it, as Naruto caught it was a file. Naruto opened said file up. As we both know, Orochimaru is a rather crafty man, and he wanted to have backup just in case. He can use it for future blackmail. As you can see, everything is there. The roots, everything mapped out. If that is not a clear sign of what happened that day, I don't know what is. As Naruto realized it was the same exact roots, the location where the hidden stone ninjas would come from. How would anyone know this? It was a surprise attack. That is what they all said. As Naruto saw everything, the list in the map out. The signal. The correct signal that they used. This was too much evidence not to be legit. He then looked at the notary, as it was stamped a long time ago in the hidden leaf. Another extra precaution by Orochimaru to make sure it was believable, while there was no name on it. It was stamped in the hidden leaf. That meant someone in the hidden leaf knew about the attack, and they knew what was going to happen. They went out of their way to plan this. As Naruto saw red, Naruto's eyes swift into the Mongito Sharingan. Obito decided to get the hell out of here as his Kamui. Before it could activate though, the world started to behave strangely. He cursed. The next thing he knew, a fist slammed into his gut. As he puked up blood from underneath his mask, the blow was beyond intense. Immediately, about 20 white zetsus erupted from the ground. The effect of what Naruto was doing happened to them as well. It was his Monkey to Sharingan ability, a rather dangerous ability. Naruto could warp everything around him, put everyone in a state of vertigo. While you were in said state, it was hard to do anything. Your whole senses were mixed up. Up was down, left was right, right was left. Your hands were switched, your feet were tied, everything seemed out of place. Colors were blurred, everything was just nonsense. There was a range for his technique, but the thing is, no one knew about the range or what exactly it was. Obito had only saw this once in the past, a very long time ago when Naruto faced off against a few Kumo shinobis, when he was spying on him even back then. But he did not know the range or how far it could take, not to mention Naruto also had another ability in his other eye. Now that was bad, as he didn't know exactly what that was either. As he could not focus or anything, he lashed out a fist but he only hit air. As his system field messed up, he tried to activate his Kamui, but he didn't go through anything. His arm was grabbed and pulled with such a force that it was ripped. Lucky enough it was his white Zetsu arm, but still it was ripped clean off. Considering that Naruto also possessed monstrous strength, something that he was known for, Obito messed up badly by coming here. What did he think that was gonna happen? As Naruto would want him dead as well. Naruto reached forward as he was about to grab the mats, but before he could, the entire area started to get hot. He looked down towards ground as he saw debris rising. Naruto flashed away, moving with such speed before the explosion went off. Obito crossed his arm that remained as he was blown away. He broke through several trees, as a strange creature also blew right out of the ground. It was the only way. Black Zetsu consumed Obito as he took him away with him. White Zetsu with a swirling mask came out of the ground as he held up his hand and sent vines towards Naruto. Naruto flashed the hand sign, Fire Style. Verbal Jutsu. Its fire style was nothing normal as it burned the vines. White Zetsu started to sink into the ground only for the entire place to explode as he was thrown. He crashed into a nearby tree. He got up as he started to run for his life. Looking behind him, he saw the movement in the darkness. He had to get out of here. He couldn't allow himself to be captured, as he was about to dive once again until an attack shot through his back. It felt like a wind bullet as it teared right through him as he collapsed on the ground. The next thing he knew, his face was grabbed and slammed harshly in the ground. As Naruto dropped on his back and bit his finger as he poured his blood on the thing's back and carved a signal in it with his chakra. The symbol started to glow with his chakra and his blood. White Zetsu spasmed as the marking spread over his body as he went dull. His face going blank as his body was basically put in a state of hibernation. Considering that Naruto had studied the arts of sealing, he was no joke when it comes to Funjutsu. It didn't take too long as Anvus flashed in the area as he had saw the massive explosion. Meanwhile that was going on, Black Zetsu was in a bad state as he had to sacrifice most of his body to cause that explosion. When the vertigo hit him, he didn't know what the hell was going on, but he had brought explosives. It was a diversion that Obito would use to get out of there. He didn't know what would happen, but he just dropped it. Lucky enough he survived, but Obito was not so lucky regarding being completely safe. His body was badly burned as he was in pain, as a white Zetsu quickly fused with him as he started to heal him and put him in a state of unconsciousness so that he would heal. Damn it, Black Zetsu cursed that ability. Up until this day they didn't know how to stop it. And they did not know the range because Black Zetsu was deep on the ground and yet he was also able to get affected by that damn thing. And not to mention Obito almost died. He knew that it was a bad thing going to Naruto like this, as he had told him that Naruto would retaliate, but Obito swore that he could get away just in time. Orochimaru knew that something like this would happen, as he had told him that the bear would attack him, but Obito did not listen. Lucky enough he was not dead. A few more inches though, and the half left side of his body would have been blown off completely. And Black Zetsu wasn't sure he could save him then. He sighed as he walked around the room. Naruto Uchiha was becoming a real problem. It's time that they go after what really matters. She was much more vulnerable, even though it will be a bit harder to get to her. She was much more vulnerable. And not to mention, they were one of the few people that knew that Naruto was currently having children, and that was a big ace for them. But having Naruto depressed first by telling him about Danzo was not the way to go, because look at him now. He almost died. Not to mention one hit was enough to cause him to puke up blood. In terms of fighting, Obito was just not ready to face off against someone like Naruto, even with this Kamui. So once he was fully healed, they will enact the real plan, as she would be much more vulnerable to go after, because Naruto was out of the picture right now. But you wonder how is Naruto taking the news at Konoha regarding Danzo? Back at Konoha, there was a few things in this world that Minato Namikaze was afraid of. The thought of a new world war, knowing that it would cause countless of deaths. So he went out of his way to avoid that at all possible times. The thought of his loved ones being killed, considering that he grew up without parents. The people that he made attachments with were quite great, his bonds with them. But those were not the only thing that scared him, because while Minato Namikaze was a powerhouse, a dangerous person, the feeling of dread that he felt the moment he appeared in the clearing, it was the same one from all those years ago. The envoys had arrived. The moment they had saw the massive explosion went off, and Minato had made his way quickly, as he wanted to know what the hell was going on in his village. He arrived upon said scene to feel the feeling the moment he touched down. It felt, in a way it could not be described. It was very hard to, but he knew exactly what that feeling was. He gave the envoys a signal to step back, as he wasn't sure what the hell was going on. As he calmly made his way, pushing his fear aside, he stood in front of one of the most dangerous men in the world right now. While things were calm for him and Naruto was trying to get a better view of life, he was still a dangerous individual. "What's going on?" said Minato, as he looked down towards the downed Naruto. That was when he noticed a strange white creature, as Naruto had no anything back. It was lying motionless, as Minato was confused. As Naruto slowly got up, his eyes shifting back to his normal eyes, but the look on his face, it was one of pure anger and rage. But the rage seemed to subside for a moment. "I was attacked once again," said Naruto, "by the masked man." "Again?" said Minato. "It has been months since the man had entered the village and somehow gotten away." "Is that? No, this is not him," said Naruto. "This is one of his associates. I don't know exactly what it is, but perhaps we can use this to find out where he actually is." Minato looked around. "Did he blow up the place?" "Yes. He was trying to kill me," said Naruto, as he slowly got to his feet. "Anfu," said Minato, "take this thing away, we need to get it to Inoichi." The Anfu nodded and picked the body up. "Is that all?" asked Minato, as he noticed that something was off with Naruto. "Yes," said Naruto. His tone was too calm. "I'm surprised you let him get away a second time," said Minato. "There were more of those things, a lot of them. They were the one that blew up the area so that he could get away," said Naruto. "If anything come from that creature, I would like to know. There's something I have to do." With that, he walked off. Minato had a great feeling that Naruto was not telling him something, but he wasn't sure what it was. Time skip. Tatsumi has known Naruto for a very long time now, so she could often tell when something was wrong. As the both of them were sitting down eating, rather calmly, as she had seen it over the past few days. At first it was small, but she noticed the subtle movements, the way he acted towards certain things. She placed down her utensils. "I thought you would come clean by yourself, but it seems like I'll have to force it out of you," she said. "Now tell me, what's wrong?" He looked at her for a long minute, as he didn't say anything before he got to his feet. He came back a few seconds later, as he was holding on to a file. He handed it to her. She was confused until she took it and opened it. As she read over the information in said file, "What is this?" she asked. "The date. When my sister died," he said. That confused her even more. To be exact, before it. She was confused. "I don't understand. If this is before it, how would this person know what exactly is gonna happen? Not to mention this was stamped here in Konoha. Why is..." She paused, realizing what was going on. "Naruto, is this what I think it is?" "Yes," said Naruto, as she placed on the folder. After hearing what he said, it didn't take her long to piece things together. "But that means..." "Yes," said Naruto, as his face was completely serious. She took a breath, knowing that this was bad. Very bad. "Who did this?" she asked. "From what I've been told, Danzo." "Who told you?" "You remember that strange masked guy that tried to attack Kushina?" he said. She tried to remember, as she remembered him telling her that a long time ago. Yeah, but that was a long time ago. And he also tried to convince you to join his side, right? Why would he give you this? He's trying to make me see that this world is not what it really is. He's trying to bring me to his side. And him giving you this, he wants you to cause trouble. So I don't think this is real. I thought the same thing, said Naruto. That is why. I need more proof first before I do anything. I wouldn't want to jeopardize so much that I'd worked for just a piece of nonsense that was made up. Even though there was a lot of proof there, not to mention his stamp and the date. It could incriminate a lot of Konoha, especially Minato, saying that no name was on it. So anyone with a high power in Konoha could do this. Tatsumi sighed. She picked herself up, taking not a while to get her feet as she made her way towards him, telling him to sit. As she rested her head on his shoulder, if you don't do anything about this, it will eat away at you. Be careful, she said. As she knew once his mind was made up, well, he couldn't just toss it aside. And not to mention if truly someone was behind his sister's death in the village of someone sold out one of their own shinobis of the village. Well, they deserved death and far worse. Konoha was brought up on the wheel of fire that all shinobis possess, selling out comrades like that. Well, that was bad. As Naruto placed her arm around her, I promise you, some time ago I would give you the life that you wanted, said Naruto. And I will be in that life. I'll be just fine. I know, she said. But just be careful. I will, said Naruto. Have you told anyone yet? No. You're the first, said Naruto. As she just leaned on his shoulder. Time skip. The information that he wanted finally came back to him. And thus, Naruto made his way out of the village to handle some personal problems. Meanwhile, the snake's son in Orochimaru, while he was not with the Akatsuki, had his own personal hideouts with his subordinates, as he was worming his way to take over the Land of Rice. Perhaps he will change the name as well, because it would officially belong to him. At the moment though, he was setting a couple plan in motion to take over the entire place. He was gaining support and alliances. He knew that the real leader of the Akatsuki would be busy with whatever he was doing with this information he gave to him, so he wouldn't be watching his back while he plot to get what he wanted from the Akatsuki. After all, he was not real loyal to them. They just had things that he wanted, not to mention when he saw those magnificent eyes. Orochimaru wanted to learn every jutsu. He wanted to be above everything in this world. And those eyes, that man claimed to be a god, well, they were truly magnificent. But he also possessed magnificent eyes as well, from his dealings with Danzo some time ago. And he was still using some of them to experiment. As he walked down the hall of his base, Orochimaru felt all the hair in the back of his neck stood up. A feeling of dread settled over him as he was confused. He hasn't felt this feeling in a very long time. As he proceeded to walk down the hall, stepping out into an open arena floor, only to find bodies. As Orochimaru looked around, their throats were slit. They were killed in a way so they did not make any noise. And rather fastly, he must say, because none of them alerted the others. Orochimaru glanced towards the door behind him, as he felt something settle down behind him. It's been a long while, Orochimaru. He pretended to keep his cool as he walked. Yes, it has. I'm surprised though. How did you find me, Orochimaru said, as he was surprised by that. Helping even scoundrels of this world has its benefit. They get information from far and wide, said Naruto. You're hard to find, but you're not completely off the map. As Naruto leaned against the wall, Orochimaru could not see what he was holding under his cloak. As he was wearing a black cloak, he couldn't see if he was holding any weapons, as he made his distance between them. Tell me though, why are you here? If you could have found me from a long time now, judging by what you just said. Why now, he asks. Because I recently got some information, and I was wondering if it is true. Considering that you're the one that gave it, so that it could be passed on to me. Orochimaru chuckled, but he was actually pissed off. The man swore he would keep his name out of it. But, well, they didn't really trust each other, not to mention, it's not like they were friends. So you came to see if the proof I gave was true. Correct, said Naruto. Naruto has been fostering this anger for the past week, because it took that long to find Orochimaru. While Jiraiya had his spine at work, Naruto had dealings with some people that were, well, not entirely good. Not that shinobis are good in a sense, but these people were the worst of worst. And they could get things done, like find even someone like Orochimaru himself. Most of the shinobi world did not even know about them because, well, they kept to themselves, but Naruto, due to who he was, he had a reputation. And he was able to get an ally in said force. It was a secret op, like a spy network itself, but, well, they had a price. As Naruto leaned on the wall, he did not make a movement or anything. Orochimaru's body was tense, as he was prepared for a fight. Did Danzo really have my sister killed, said Naruto. Well, you knew I wouldn't lie to you, Orochimaru said. Yes, he did. While the both of them never really got along together, it was true Orochimaru never lied to him while he was at the village. Because just like him, Naruto saw things that other people could not see. Orochimaru thought that he'd made a good ally for him, but, well, Naruto was set in his ways. And not to mention he was settling down with a red head, but, well, things end up nasty there after his sister's death. She was used as a scapegoat, said Orochimaru. Why, said Naruto. We had the war. It would have been done soon anyways. Well, your sister was known as a Sharingan queen. It seems that Danzo was getting rather upset about her growing in strength. You and I both know how he hates your kind, and would very much like to see them disappear. But your sister was not the only one though. There was many Uchihas who he damned to death in the war, and several other shinobis that would pose a threat against him. But people like you, Minato, and myself, well, we were out of his league. After we start to rise in popularity, strength, and everything else. But you helped him, said Naruto. Well, not regarding your sister's death, but we did conspire together. So tell me, Naruto, is that all? I have things to do. Naruto turned his back. He didn't pause. You helped him regardless. And my sister's dead because of that. And by the way, your chakra seems a lot different from what it used to be. I can almost feel the remnants of Uchiha inside your veins. Would you mind explaining that? Orochimaru stepped back a bit. As Naruto felt his chakra tensed up, Orochimaru ducked as the cupboard behind him was destroyed. Using his intense flexibility, he slipped right past Naruto as he got away. He moved towards the door with tremendous speed, only for the top to explode as debris and rocks covered the entire pathway. Orochimaru was forced to jump back. He opened his mouth as the Kusanagi blade emerged. Gripping the handle, he thrust it behind him, only for it to come face to face with another blade. The black katana clashed against the Kusanagi as sparks flew everywhere. Both men then moved in a dance of deadly swordsmanship as sparks flew around the area. Once they stepped away from each other, Orochimaru had several slashes all over his body. His clothing was slashed rather badly, and there was a nasty cut in his face. But there was not even a single cut on Naruto. Orochimaru got back up to his full height, seeing that he was in his stance. Are we really gonna do this, he said. Now that you got your information, why don't you just go ahead and pay Danzo to visit? I'm sure that you're itching to do that. Danzo will get his, said Naruto. But you think I would let you go after you take my Uchiha brethrens and use them for your own conniving, disgusting means? Well then, Orochimaru said, I guess there is no point. He activates his Sharingan. Yes, his Sharingan. As Naruto did not seem surprised, always obsessed with pushing yourself just a bit further to become something complete, to become something that this world has never seen before. But you made a mistake by going after the Uchihas, said Naruto. Those eyes, I will be taking them. I can't tell you to do that, Orochimaru said. I still haven't cracked the full secrets of these eyes. And not to mention there is several things I need to do first. I just can't afford to die here. Orochimaru flashed behind Naruto, his blade already up in the air as he brought it down, only for it to clash against the black steel. As Naruto turned and knocked the Kusanagi right with the man's hand, Orochimaru flashed to one-handed seals before he released a stream of flames from his mouth, forcing Naruto to backpedal. Orochimaru wasted no time as he shot forward, moving at his fastest. He reappeared behind Naruto in mid-air as he thrusts his arm out, several snakes bursting from his sleeve. They wrapped around Naruto's body and bit into his flesh, injecting toxins. As Naruto slumped in mid-air, Orochimaru smirked. That is when he felt a sword shoved through his back. Orochimaru watched as there was nothing in front of him. He was pushed off said blade as he coughed up blood. The snake Sanin was confused. How? With these eyes? You shouldn't be able to. As Orochimaru looked towards Naruto Mangita Sharingan, he frowned in annoyance. The stage of the Sharingan he was not able to awaken even with research. He would need another Sharingan compatible to this, not to mention the user never activated. And Danzo did not exactly give him the gene pool of which Sharingan he took from the war. Danzo knew that he would use it one day against the Leaf, and he didn't want Orochimaru to be too overpowered. Orochimaru opened his mouth as another Orochimaru slipped out of it. As he rushed over to the side of the wall, staying his distance away from Naruto who stood there, unblinking, as he just looked at Orochimaru. Orochimaru tried his best not to look at Naruto's eyes. Despite his Sharingan, it seems that Naruto could still manipulate him with those damn eyes. But he felt something off. He realized he could not smell anything. That was concerning. He just shed his skin, so why couldn't he smell anything? That is why he was completely caught off guard when he was slashed across the back. As he collapsed on the ground, a deep gash tearing into his flesh. Orochimaru turned to see the wall breaking apart, revealing Naruto standing there. How are you doing this? He said. As he released his chakra, this was not an illusion. Why? How was he moving like this? As Orochimaru then realized, one of his ears, he couldn't hear anything from his left ear. A sword stabbed directly through his throat. As he gargled, he was pushed off as he collapsed to the ground. He opened his mouth as another Orochimaru slipped through. But to his greatest fear and shock, he still could not smell or hear anything now in both ears. He looked up to see Naruto standing there. Blood was leaking from his right eye. As Orochimaru realized what was going on, this must be one of the Mangita Sharingan abilities. But what was it? He could not understand. The next thing he knew, he collapsed face first. Orochimaru was stunned, as he couldn't feel his legs. Did he got hit? There was no visible wounds on him. What was going on? I told you, said Naruto. Those eyes don't belong to you. Give them back. Orochimaru raised his arm only for it to drop the limp. Shocked, he couldn't believe what was going on. As his arm was not functioning, he forced his mind to break from any illusion by releasing almost all of his chakra at once. The place started to shake ominously because of the chakra that he was releasing, but yet nothing broke. No matter what he did, he was still unable to do anything. The next thing he knew, his chakra was gone. Orochimaru backed away, crawling to the wall. "How are you doing this?" he said. "Those eyes, what are they doing to me?" The next thing he knew, the sword was thrown and stabbed through his stomach, pinned him to the wall as he gargled in pain. Without his chakra, his body would not be able to heal itself, so the pain was terrible. He tried to open his mouth to switch once again, and this would be the last time, but to his surprise, he could not. His jutsu was not working. Just because you modify your body and stole a pair of Sharingans, that doesn't make you undefeatable. It doesn't make you untouchable. It doesn't make you into some kind of god. You enjoy stealing and experimenting. You don't work for anything, said Naruto. You think that that is the way of the Uchiha, to have a Sharingan to copy of a jutsu. That is what makes you weak, said Naruto. No, you can't do this to me. I am Orochimaru. I am Orochimaru the Sannin, he said. I will not die. Naruto reached forward and ripped both eyes out of his socket as he tore them clean out. As Orochimaru cursed, they flashed around, unable to do anything. I'll purge you from this world, said Naruto as he stepped back. He went through hand sign, fire style, executioner flames. Orochimaru screamed as the flames burned him. For a full-on minute, skin burned, melted off the bones, as Naruto made sure he was dust, ending the snake Sannin once and for all. The moment he was dead, Naruto's eyes returned back normal. Everything was blurry. He leaned against the wall as he took several deep breaths, calming himself. But his vision was not getting better. He would need to implant his sister, Mangita's Sharingan. He was putting it off for a reason, despite knowing that her eyes would become a part of his. In a way, he believed if he did it, her presence would be erased forever. Her eyes would just become something that he would be using, and her presence would be gone. But he needed his vision for what is to come, as he had a lot of hunting to do. A lot of people need to die. But guys, in the end subscribe right here. If you want to see what's important to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications they posted. But I'm off now, see you guys soon. Peace.